It's a beautiful sunny day in Belgium, and we're at the Mont in Brussels, a place where the locals might come and kick back on a lovely sunny afternoon to look out from deck chairs over this wonderful site. These gardens were designed by King Leopold II in the 19th century when he wanted to renovate the area in sight of the Royal Palace. And now his vision has led to the next race for the Drone Champions League. I'm Matt Andrews. Welcome to our third location for our 2017 season. We previously closed the Champs-Élysées on Paris and raced around the government of Liechtenstein. Now we have turned this public gardens into one of the most technically difficult race courses ever conceived. You might look at it and think, well, the gates are in the corners. That looks fairly straightforward. But the library is involved. They have to fly under the trees as well. 9 teams of the best drone racing pilots flying at speeds of up to 140 kilometers an hour, and they are really going to have to show us what they can do to complete this course. And it's midway through our season. Teams are starting to extend a lead over others, so they're really going to have to make it count this weekend. Thanks to Brussels for letting us race here, and thanks to the whole city, which is an absolutely beautiful place.
I think the Brussels as a first stop is really nice because the atmosphere here is great. It's a beautiful city and it just looks great.
The location is beautiful. You got in the background these beautiful houses and buildings. It's like everything looks so clean and really fresh.
When you look down from the top, it looks really, really good.
I think it's another step up on the location. It's again in the middle of the city, and I think it will be epic.
I think it's going to be really spectacular for the people who are coming to watch it.
It's something really challenging, and I believe that both pilots and spectators will really like it.
This is like the first time they see the whole track. They're going to see the whole fighting of the drones. It's going to be pretty amazing.
We are having such an amazing weekend of racing here with the Brussels Grand Prix on the Mont in the centre of the city. And this is how our race has shaped up so far. Good races throughout our season in Paris and Vaduz, and then yesterday's scores have led to FPV Racing with a large lead at the top of the table there. Next Blades Racing chasing them down, but FPV extended where their position was. Now we have to see what we're going to get out of them today. So welcome to our second race of the weekend in Brussels. You are looking now at the gallery next to the library of the Mont. There it is in front of you. Absolutely beautiful square. That building opposite, that's the library, and we are going to fly through and around it. And also in front of it you can see that line of trees next to our crash gate. That's where the race finishes, in the crash gate. The trees, though, one of the most difficult parts of the course. It's about 2.3 by 2.5 meters clearance underneath them, and that is where the pilots are going. If you're new to the Drone Champions League, welcome! We're the best drone racing league in the world with 9 teams of the best pilots. Earlier today, we've had qualifying. Each pilot gets up to 3 goes to race on our circuit. We take their 2 best laps. That is their qualifying time. Then we take the best lap times across the team, rank them all. 9 teams start, 8 teams go to quarterfinals. 1 team are out of qualifying. For quarterfinals and semi-finals, we have 2 single heats in each. A team has to nominate its 4 pilots in order of who they want to line up when in the quarters and semis without knowing who they're going to race against. So after 2 single heats, a team might have a 2-0 lead, but then it is big heat time. In the Drone Champions League, all 8 drones are in the air in a 4 versus 4 race. If you win that, you get a point for your team, and if your teammates can come second and third, you will get 2 bonus points. So if you lose the 2 single heats, the big heat means you could still win 3-2 and go to the next stage of our knockout tournament. You have to get second and third for the 2 bonus points. It occasionally happens. 8 teams are here with the quarterfinals. We'll lose 4 at that stage, of course. 4 teams in the semi-finals, and after 2 single heats and a big heat each, we will have our grand final later on this afternoon. That will be across 5 heats. Every pilot fights against a member of their opposition, and a big heat at the end to settle it. Last night, we did all this at dusk, going down into nighttime. Now we're doing it in the daylight.
Start.
This is what it looks like.
Super long straight, all the way to the back of the track, and then you have the pink gate. When you're going full throttle, you're gonna use a lot of juice, a lot of battery, and that's gonna make you, when you have to make the corner, you have to have some power left to, do the full stop. If you survive that, then you have to do another straight back to the DCL gate right there.
So after you take the DCL gate right there, you have to keep your altitude in mind, because you're going into the tree line, which is right there. It's gonna be really tight and a pretty sharp corner, so take a turn to the right, go around the gate on the side and go through it.
So after you passing the gate sideways, you have to go in this building right here. It's a straight line in the building, but you have to pass this gap and not hit the hit the obstacle. After the building, you have to U-turn 180 degrees and go through the gate hanging on the building. After the hanging gate, you have to do a split S into the Conrad gate, the blue one, and then go straight to the Ibis gate.
On the second lap ends differently because it ends in the crash gate, which is down there, just after the yellow DCL gate.
Like I said, let's get
Some of our amazing pilots there taking you through this incredible course on the Mont. There's the statue of King Albert I. He's got his back turned to the carnage going on behind him. Next Blade's racing against FPV in our first quarterfinal, and the next BR Free Flow Gemfan Wild Prop are facing Flyduino Kiss and Conrad Racing Team against Rotorama. 9 teams started in qualifying. It is IRC yet again not making it to the quarterfinal stage. Their season continues as to be the bad start it's been all the time. We've seen them in the quarterfinals going out quickly. We don't even get them in the quarterfinal stage here. First quarterfinal single heat though looks like this. It is Adam Blackburn against Timothy Trowbridge, 2 star pilots of the Drone Champions League, who we see regularly doing incredible racing. And it is Adam Blackburn, the 10-year-old pilot for Next Blades Racing in blue, slightly ahead of Timothy Trowbridge for FPV in green. 2 teams featuring near the top of our leaderboard, 2 teams wanting to come out of today's race with as many points as they can, but Timothy Trowbridge has already got problems. He will not finish, and Adam Blackburn will get the point in the single heat for having progressed the most. He will probably round off this first lap. He's going to get a bit more in. It is a 2-lap course. A lot of pilots decide they just want to land it after they've done 1. Timothy is out. Adam has got this point, but he's decided he wants to get a more daylight practice in. I don't blame him. It is a very hard course. And you can see he's just going to bring it down gently, not finish all the way around. Doesn't need to. He's going to put it in the crash gate gently so our runners can go and pick it up. First point of today to Adam Blackburn, who I think has won the heat point in every race he has faced this season. Brett Collis against Mark Heiniger for our second heat. And there's Brett Collis' view of Mark Heiniger going past him. Into our trees. Good line by Brett here, straight down the middle. He's holding that nicely. That's okay for him. He's currently back in the lead now. Small margin over 1 second with him and Mark Heiniger. But there it goes. Down on the floor of the gallery. That is Mark Heiniger. As it narrowed, that gallery gets tighter. 2.3 meters wide, about halfway through. Somewhere around there, Mark clipped something. He is out of that, and that is 2-0. For Next Blades Racing. So as you saw earlier on, it is possible to turn a 2-0 deficit after single heats around. But let's see how that 2-0 came about. Here's Timothy Trowbridge trying to exit out through the trees. You've got to fly through the yellow pylons. He then hit the tree immediately after them. Adam missed it. There's the bit I was talking about where it narrows in the gallery. That tree tunnel. Claiming a lot of casualties. We've lost quite a lot of drones over the last couple of days of practice and racing here. Gently does it for Adam. Here's Mark Heinegger though, moving at speed into the gallery. This is what he clipped just now in his single heat. Yes, just actually in front of where it narrowed. He clipped one of the left-hand columns. It's the right-hand side that narrows. The wall moves in from the right-hand side. Trying to keep away from that. Got a bit too near to the edge. So, on our stage, you see standing up, that's Mark Heinegger there. Some pilots like to stand, some like to sit. There's the starting blocks, and there's the drones in the air with a couple of clips along the way. A little bit of mid-air collision. Strahl is already down along with Heinegger. I think they hit each other on the launch and took them both out. That is disastrous for FPV Racing, because they need 3 pilots to take the top 3 positions at the end of this race, and 2 of them took each other out on launch. Timothy Trowbridge up front, where we so often see him for FPV Racing. Mark Poschveld, who had such a great day yesterday, chasing him down. There are points in the Drone Champions League for the top 5 teams after a whole racing session has completed. So it's important to come out of the quarterfinals 5th, ideally, instead of 6th, 7th and 8th, based on performance. So Timothy Trowbridge has got something to race for here. He wants to get that point for his team. But it is Gary Kent in front of him and Mac Poschveld right behind him. They turn tightly towards the Brussels gate. Through DCL, Gary Kent is home. Timothy Trowbridge has had a video problem right at the end, and that's cost him. Looks like Kai Stutz might still bring it home. But it will be Gary Kent in a time of 57.11, making it a clean sweep for Next Blades Racing. 3-0 over FPV, and FPV are the team. Those guys there, that's Timothy on the left. They are the team at the top so far this season. They have 660 points, having come second in all 3 of our point-scoring races. The other teams needed to close that gap, and Next Blades Racing have knocked them out. Kai Stutz a little bit twitchy. Gary Kent moving at speed quite high on the DCL and into the crash gates. Good finish. That's how you get it done at speed. That's how you end our drone races. There's Kai Stutz. Slightly meandering way towards finish. A little bit of a reverse S to get in there, but got in there. And to our stage here in Brussels. Our next race is Next BR Free Flow. That's the sister team to Next Blades Racing. And they will be racing Gemfan, who are just walking onto the stage. Second quarterfinal then. Starting blocks. Next BR Free Flow against Gemfan. Danny Pashon in green for Next BR, and Christoph Kartanovitz in the red drone behind him. Danny Pashon, we didn't see a lot from him yesterday, and he is right neck and neck with Kartanovitz through the trees. That is a tight place to be racing that closely. Tight place to be racing full stop, to be honest. As I mentioned, we've lost a lot of them. Kartan's gone. Danny Pashon all on his own through the Docks Gate. Split S over Conrad. Back through there, heads up towards the Alliance Gate and decides he will just bring that home with 1 point in the bag. It is a tough course. We have lost a lot of quads here. I think the current count is 11-0 to the Fountains. They've now got more netting on them. There's your first heat point for Next BR Free Flow, looking to maybe race their sister team in the semi-finals. Young Rock Sun and Mario Cesena. Young Rock Sun, seen great things from him. Very, very fast pilot. Mario Cesena, extremely experienced in multiple air sports, including 3D helicopter freestyle. They are with each other through into parking, coming back towards the gallery. Young Rock Sun now with a little bit of a lead, extended over Cesena. Through the Docks Gate, yes, it is hanging off the side of the gallery. You're not mistaken, that is where it is. Cesena now 2 seconds behind Young Rock Sun with a lot of speed as he comes through the Brussels Gate up to DCL to start his second lap. We are on to a second lap in our single heat. So far, it's all been very one-sided in pilots not getting there. Here is Mirko Cesena getting completely lost in the trees. Couldn't find his way in. Young Roxanne through the docks gate on the side of the gallery. Split S over to Conrad. Not hanging around. His teammates can tell him he's got it. His teammates can tell him Susanna is out. But Young Roxanne wants this speed on this final turn and into the crash gate. Absolutely brilliant racing between both of them. But you can see how difficult that tree section is. Let's show you again. There's the entrance to it. Those two yellow pylons. You have to go in there. You have to exit here where the other two are. How you get to those pylons and out of them, that's up to you. Do a little flip for Danny Pashon, a little victory roll perhaps. There it is. That way, Danny. There you go. Young Roxanne's big final turn of the lap. So here's Mirko Susanna with incredible speed coming out of the trees. Tipping it nicely into the gallery, but he got into a terrible muddle when the trees faced him again. Young Roxanne having a slow there, you see, just to make sure he's right, barreling down the middle. And he exited very sharply after the exit pylons. And that's a pretty clean finish for him there. So yeah, how you get into the trees? Some pilots like to do a big sweeping curve from the DCL gate and hammer straight into them. Other pilots prefer to just go around all the trees and go straight down the lot of them. You did see there, Zena, he did bring it home, but he got lost on the way. It is quite a maze. Back and forth this track, so many ups and downs on the Mont Arts. Young Roxanne in the lead, half a second over Johnny Scher, who was sick yesterday as the green one down for free flow, trying to get it back in the air, but that's Danny Pashon done for the race. Yeah, Johnny Scher was a little bit ill yesterday, affected his performance. He says he's feeling much better today. You can see him out in front with Young Roxanne. Kartanovic though with him. Now this counts, of course. They're going to need a lot of points out of this big heat, but it was 2-0 to free flow going into it. Can Gemfan in the red drones get the top three places? Kartanovic is where he needs to be. He needs Van der Els and Susanna to join him. Susanna making his way. Kartanovic losing the lead now to Young Roxanne. Kartanovic chasing him down, the green drone ahead of him, heading up towards Brussels gate. He can see him in his sights. He's got to make him on his turn, but he needs his teammates to not be 5 and over 8 seconds behind. Ultimately, Johnny Scher took second place from him, nearly 2 seconds behind Young Roxanne and 1 second behind for Kartanovic. That'll be the Chinese organisation of Gemfan done for the day, and that makes our first semi-final. Next Blades Racing against an XPR Free Flow. This is our third stop of the season. Our first race was in Paris. Our second race was at Vaduz, the capital of Liechtenstein, where we raced around the government and parliament buildings. We had an awesome race on the Saturday, and we had a lot of fun with a show race on the Sunday. Blades Racing and BR Free Flow, that was our show race, so they have got some experience racing on our courses against each other. What can they do in our semi-final? We'll find out. Susanna here, getting some good turns in with his flight. Van der Els making it home, just coming in a long way down from where they needed. If they'd got the top three positions, Gemfan would have knocked Free Flow out. But it's 3-0 again. Good results so far. For next, quarterfinal 3. Wild Prop on the stage, our all-French wildcard team from Paris, who came 5th there and are with us for the season as a result. And Fly Duino Kiss Racing, our German organisation. They step up for our first quarter-final, which will be between Wild Prop's Grout in green and Sebastian Brande in red. Wild Prop didn't join us out in Vaduz, so they're carrying a few points into the season, and that is Sebastian Brande getting stuck in the trees but getting it off the ground again. Thomas Grout down and up as well. Race is back on out of the trees. Two pilots getting into difficulties, both not necessarily knowing how the other one did. Are they well ahead of them, well behind them, on the ground and not in the air? Their teammates might be shouting in their ears. They might just be letting them concentrate, but it is half a second of Brande chasing down the yellow drone of Wild Prop's Grout. He sees him underneath him, he sees him in front of him. He passes him, Brande back in the lead with less than a tenth of a second. Brande is up, Grout is down again on the entrance into the trees. A little bit of a video issue under review, not helping him. We'll look into that. Sebastian Brande through the gallery, through the docks gate split S. Conrad sees him through at speed. Alliance fast turn before you get too close to those fountains ahead of you. The Brussels gate and DCL gates await, and Branda is taking his thumb just a little bit away from the very extremities there to bring it home safely. Grout will get a review for his video issues, and that race will be rerun if necessary. Next race though, Vincent de Comene and Nicolas Soleil. Wild Prop in yellow, Flyduino in the lead in red. Comene's view there, he is caught in our netting over the fountain. Out of the race, but not in the water. Nicolas Soleil's got this all to himself. That water, that fountain, that is pretty much the first major turn into the course. You come off the starting blocks, head across the Mont Arts, you turn through the Brussels gate. It's the first gate at speed. Here's a repeat of it, in fact. This is the view of it. Soleil starting second lap. There is the fountain that he flies over Del Comene's drone. So it's after our second gate, the first major turn at speed. That fountain claimed a few drones, as I mentioned. I think it's 11-0 to them. We've netted it, and it has saved Vincent Del Comene's drone from a soaking. But that is 2-0 for Flyduino Kiss. Are we going to get another 3-0 stomp? Down, but not dead. Out of the trees and try again. Oof. Wild Prop's drone straight up into the trees on recovery. So he hit the ground and the trees and had a third go at it. There's Sebastian Branda and Thomas Grout's view. There's Branda in front. Here are the trees. Rocking and rolling to get it down the centre there. Grout's view. Over the fountain, over the netting. Bit high into the trees. Clipped a few leaves, rolled it. There's de Comene. The cameras that these pilots are flying with, of course, they're based on the front of the drones. What you're seeing is the exact same FPV, that's first-person view footage, that they race with. You've got to allow a bit of clearance around that view for the extremities of your drone as you speed up, as you roll it forwards or pitch it forwards. Got to take all that into account. Don't get too close just because your camera can fit through. Here's big heat time. And Flyduino Kiss looking to take 3 points from this. They don't need all 3. One will do it is Wild Prop in 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. You need to change that first, second and third. Panaiva moving things up the field. Grout moving things up the field. Couturier and Del Comene will see Wild Prop not progress any further. Sola at the front. Panaiva wanting to take the point from him. Maybe help them come 5th here as they did in Paris. They've got 80 points for the season. From there they'd like 80 more today if they can't get any more than that. Nicolas Soleil just ahead of Panaiva. Look at that, 4 drones all in the tree section. Thomas Grout has hit one. And we'll chalk up another win for another trunk. Panaiva though up front. Sola with him, so close between them now. Dip it under the Alliance gate. Brandon moving towards the Brussels gate with another drone in his sights. Just there in front of him, just there alongside him. Into the crash gate. 1, 2, 3. A tremendous finish. Not even 0.4 of a second between Sebastian Branda, Thomas Panaiva and Nicolas Sola. Lucas Val home 5 seconds behind them. But less than 0.4 between the 3 drones topping a big heat. That is incredible racing. The first one was Sebastian Branda's. There you go, 43, 48 and 82. So exciting stuff, nearly a point to Wild Prop, but 3-0 again. Mikel Falara going a bit, well, clipping the side of a gate. That's an unusual one. Clipping the side of a gate, sending him wildly to the other side into our side netting. Del Comene's view of 1, then 2 opponents, and he hit a tree pretty much square on. I think the second drone passing him may have just caught his eye. Nicolas Soleil is home. Flyduino Kiss are home to the semi-finals. Their opponent will be one of these 2 teams. Welcome to the stage. Our 2nd and 7th seeds after qualifying. Conrad Racing Team in blue, good afternoon to you. We saw almost nothing of them yesterday. We'll talk a bit more about that later on. Rotorama, their opponents in red. It's Dino Yogi and Jakob Thoman for the first heat, and expecting a good single heat between two pilots who we know so well. Jakob Thoman just keeping it between the pylons, nearly got himself a little bit lost. Dino Yogi, where are you? The blue drone into the gallery. Thoman a little way behind him now. Out through the DOS gate, split S, Conrad, and the gap shortened slightly as Thoman is still in this enclosing all the time. Up to the Brussels gate with a better turn for Thoman. That gap reducing now. Keep an eye on these two amazing pilots. Thoman going a little bit low after he considerably closed the gap to the extent that he may well be in front now, in the trees. Out, let's see at the inter-parking gate. It is Thoman in the lead now. Yogi 3/5 of a second behind him as they go into the gallery. This is the best race we've had so far this weekend. The gap for Thoman extended. Yogi wants it. Not giving up to him as they pass over the centre of the Mont. It is quite high for Dino Yogi. Going to lose some ground and some time. He is home. Thoman is there first. A fabulous race between two incredibly experienced pilots. Jakob Thoman in 1 minute and 2 seconds dead. Dino Yogi eventually 2.5 behind him. Schenk and Mittner. Yes, let's have some more of this. Conrad Racing Team. Didn't see him yesterday. They won our last point scoring destination when we were in Vaduz. They won that. Jan Mittner is already down in this one. So Schenk is going to feature here. Heiko Schenk. And he was top in qualifying today with an incredible time of 44.3. which is over 5 seconds faster than the best time in qualifying out of any pilot yesterday. Conrad Racing Team, they basically put their hands up and said, we played it way too safe yesterday. They came 9th out of our 9 teams. They didn't make it to the quarterfinals, and that's after coming here from Liechtenstein, our amazing race in the capital in Vaduz, which they won. We really expected a major performance from them yesterday. We didn't get it. Today, they're going, right, okay. Other teams are here. Fight. We played it too safe. Let's go. Conrad went from 9th in qualifying to 2nd today. Their opponents, Rotorama, who you see here, 7th in qualifying. And we have a fight on after Rotorama take the first single heat. And Heiko Schenk takes the second one for Conrad. Dino Yogi is in. Jakob Thoman has nearly bounced it off the floor. Mittner into the trees, getting a bit lost, rolling it. He is all upside down and inside out. And Heiko Schenk here, coming home. So it is 1 point each. Here's the big heat. Blue for Conrad Racing Team, looking to make up for their non-scoring yesterday. Red for Rotorama, who made it through to the semi-finals yesterday. Whoever wins this takes it. We don't need big heat. 3 points, 1 point for the lead. We'll do it currently in the hands of Dino Yogi, with Schenk backing him up and now dropping out. Wind, Chris Wind, a German pilot who we've not seen much of this season. He is here with Conrad Racing. Martin de Kemp, who had, frankly, a terrible day yesterday. Last in qualifying out of 36 pilots. He is now a second behind Conrad Racing Team, going out of this. It is Jakob Thoman up front. De Kemp has come a cropper there. And now it is looking very clean for Jakob Thoman. Dino Yogi trying to catch him, but there's some distance to do that. If Thoman gets into trouble, Yogi's having video trouble. That is going to cost Conrad Racing Team. They just played it too safe yesterday. Had a chance to make up for it today. But don't leave it until today. You need to turn up for every race. Jakob Thoman is home. Snard, 12 seconds behind him. Conrad Racing Team's racing weekend here in Brussels is going to be a very disappointing, complete lack of points for them unless they get the 5th place after we've reviewed all the action from the quarterfinals. Heiko Schenk high, close to trees. Dino Yogi out to the trees at speed with the drone wildly in front of him. So a slower, tighter turn for him. Jakob Thoman into our gallery. Nicely done on the exit. Dino Yogi nicely done out of the trees high up. and bringing it back through the gallery at speed, heading up towards the dock gate. But there is Toman home, and with 12 seconds clearance over anybody else. Rotorama, it's 2-1. So our semi-finals feature our first, third, sixth and seventh seed teams based on collective performance across the quarterfinal, the qualifying today. Let's confirm that for you. Yep, it's an all-Nix semi-final, and then flying to Eno Kiss against Rotorama. Say they were 6th and 7th in qualifying times when you add up the performances of their pilots. So this mixes our season up very nicely. FPV, who are the most consistent team we've had, after coming second in all three of our point scoring races, they are done. Semi-finals time.
First team, make some noise for Next Place Racing from the UK!
You can hear our live show there in Brussels with Next Place Racing waiting to take their places on our stage. Here we go then. With Gary Kent, Brett Collis, Mark Poshvold, and superstar young pilot Adam Blackburn. I can't say him without saying superstar. There he is. Gary Kent had difficulties with video yesterday, had some very peculiar issues with his drone. Brett Collis and Mac. Is he going to give us a bit of fun to the camera? Sometimes he does. Right now, it is all business. They won that final. And remember, their opposition, they know very well. They are next BR Free Flow. Johnny Scher to our stage, John Roxon. Marcus Wertzberger here. And here is Danny Pashon. Going for high fives, not fist bumps. One for us. There's Richard, who owns all these teams, both these teams under Next Place Racing and XPR Free Flow. Hey, boss! He's going to lose one of them at this stage, but they are carrying points into our season. 200 for whoever comes third and 150 for whoever comes fourth. So at least 150 for both of these teams. At least 220 for one of them. So our teams had to nominate their 4 pilots, as I mentioned earlier, to compete in the single heats. You had to name 4 pilots in terms of single heat 1 and 2 for the quarters, single heat 1 and 2 for the semis. So the pilots we've seen in single heats for the quarters will not feature in the single heats for the semis. It is going to be Gary Kent for Next Place Racing. Richard looking pleased with his team's performance, as he should. He'd rather this was the final, I'm sure, as we... I'm going to bet on that being Danny. Anyone want to take that bet? I reckon that's it. Gary Kent, Marcus Wertzberger, here's his opponent. Kent for Next Place Racing in blue, Marcus Wertzberger in green. And that looks a little one-sided. Over a second almost between them. Good start for Gary Kent. Wertzberger, though, he's a pilot we know can gain speed. He's already closing that gap. He sees Gary Kent ahead of him on the tunnel. Remember, it's 2 laps. And as you've seen through the quarterfinals, there are all sorts of places this can get into trouble. Wertzberger's already passed him, though, going into the gallery. Out of that. Fast hairpin turn as they head through Dock. Split S through Conrad and Wertzberger. Still in the lead, but Gary Kent not leaving him anywhere too far away. Neck and neck through the Brussels gate. We start lap 2 through DCL with Gary Kent back in the lead and Wertzberger chasing him down fast. High through the trees. Excellent exit by both pilots. This is top class racing. Wertzberger half a second before Kent through the hairpin and closing that gap now, and he's got to do it very soon. Conrad allows gate, 2 gates left to go. Across the centre of the Mont, Gary Kent still in the lead. Wertzberger's losing a little bit behind him now. Over the fountain and bring it home. Gary Kent in a finishing time of 1:0.22. And inside of Nex. Confirmation of our finishing times. It's good, this, isn't it? Should we have some more? Second single heat. Pilots then that you haven't seen in single heats for each team. They're the ones who remain. Mac Pochbolt for Next Blades Racing against Johnny Scher. What has Johnny Scher got with him today? As I mentioned, not well yesterday. In the lead right now, seeing Pochbolt in front of him though before they got to the second gate. Johnny Scher in a muddle. And on the dirt, and on ground, and in the trees, and down again. I think that's a bin. Done. Oh, Johnny. Yeah, plenty of goes at it. Mac Pochbolt will just take that point. Thank you. Let's put that in there before we lose it somewhere. Johnny Scher hit pretty much everything in that proximity. Down, up, nearly put it in a bin and wrote it off. So, single heats work out 2-0 to Next Blades Racing. Next BR Free Flow, you've got to turn it around right now. They are more than capable. Next Blades Racing, more than capable of wrapping this up 5-0. It happened once yesterday. It's unusual, but it can be done. So we'll get our big heat ready. And have a look at that action again from those two great single heats. There's Marcus.
That's the difference. Dus zelf sta je 2-0 achter.
Johnny Scher on the ground, in the trees, in the bin. Right, not in the bin. All but, to be fair. So if you raced in the second single heat of a quarter or a semi-final, obviously you need a drone to compete in the big heat. They have up to 5 each, so it's up to them on how many they want to bring, build and equip. Doesn't have to be the same as their teammates, doesn't have to be the same as anybody else. Our tournament, our league, you can equip your drones however you want, as long as they fit within our parameters, which are basically between 700 grams and a kilo, and of the right dimensions to fit and remain safely within our netting that we have all over the course, separating this wonderful audience that we've got live here in the centre of Brussels. Let us know what you think. Hashtag GP Brussels today. Hashtag GP Brussels if you're watching us on Facebook or on YouTube. Thanks very much for joining us. Let us know your thoughts. Who do you think is going to win it? Can any of our teams maintain their performance to the end of the season? The thing is, to be honest with you, the performance is so mixed from some of them. Maintaining their performance, frankly, that could be anything. FPV in the lead of our season, but that's going to get affected today. So predict the season. What do you think? After this wonderful race concludes today, just getting our runners, just getting drones up on the starting blocks. Let us know what you think. How's this season going to turn out? We go to Romania in 3 weeks' time to the amazing salt mine Selina Turda on the 14th and 15th of October. If you saw our races last season, there was one there. There are still some drones there at the bottom of a salt lake. So in 3 weeks' time, Selina Turda and our final race will be in Berlin. Do come and join us at any of them if you can. 2nd and 3rd of December is when we'll be in Berlin for the grand final of this season. Who's going to win it? Let us know. Favourite team, favourite pilot, hashtag GP Brussels. Semi-final big heat. Let's go. Don't worry about shares drone being listed ahead of the others. It all gets sorted out at the first gate. And we are on board with Brett Collis and a lot of drones in the air into the tunnels. We've lost one or two, some blue drones and some leads. Brett Collis is down, but I think he's going to recover that. Johnny Scher out in the front at the moment. This is disastrous for everybody involved. We've still got some recoveries. Okay, Danny Pashon and Adam Blackburn look like they might be fighting this out. Some damage, but we're getting scoring time, so we'll keep with it. Adam Blackburn in second. Danny Pashon somewhere about a second in front of him. The Brussels gate. Adam could turn this around for his team right now. Could take this point. Danny Pashon into the trees with a blue drone in front of him. That is going to be Adam Blackburn, who's passed him. This is amazing from both these two expert pilots. Adam Blackburn through the dots gate, split S. Conrad. Danny Pashon's green drone, little bit more behind him now as they head up to Brussels and the final gate in front of them. DCL sees Blackburn home, sees Pashon home. And yes, support and applause. I nearly said applause, not going to lie. That's a new word, I may keep it. Applause from our audience here in Brussels, and I hope from you watching as well. That was insane.
Did Danny win?
Did Danny win, says Brett Collis. No, I think your teammate Blackburn has beaten him. We will get that thoroughly reviewed. There it is, 0.9 of a second between 10-year-old Adam Blackburn and, I don't know, well I do know, but it would be impolite to say. But the fun guy, always smiling, always having fun, Danny Pashon. Right. That's Next Blades Racing going through to our grand final 3-0. I think let's see some of that again. Off from the starting blocks. All the 8 drones in the air. Mac with a little bit of a slow turn. I think he's been bumped. I think he may have had a collision with another drone. He ended up going underneath it. One of them went into the trees. You saw that. There's Adam Blackburn rolling his, but he managed to recover it. Johnny Scher into the trees, at the top of the trees. Rolling it, coming down to earth. Marcus Würzberger with 3 in front of him and about 1 million trees to contend with. He's still in it here. You saw Scher clipping the top of the trees. As you come out of these, you have to loop around the far side of the inter-parking gate, and when you fly through that, you have to go over the tree line. That's an unusual crash. I don't think we've had anybody clip the top of the trees as you head up towards the gallery. Blades Racing, Next Blades Racing, through to the final. Their opponents will be one of these 2 teams. Waiting to come onto our stage. That's Lucas Val and his team, Flyduino Kiss Racing. First though, let's go live to our stage here in Brussels with Vivi chatting to our pilots.
Brad Collis, congratulations, you are in the finals again. How are you feeling?
Great right now. It was obviously quite close in the final at one point. They had 3 in the lead, so they could have taken it back, but luckily we came through for the win, and well done to Adam for that.
Yeah, because your youngest one was the best.
Yeah, never underestimate someone because of their age in this sport. It's crazy how good he is.
So what are you telling your team for the final? Do you speak again? Do you have like some conversations before racing in the finals?
No, just prep our quads, fly the same as we did yesterday, and kind of go from there, focus on ourselves, and it doesn't matter about the other team. We just do the best, have a bit of fun as well.
So in which part of the track do you like the most?
So the tree section, so coming into it's good. I think kind of I've got the line down in there, whereas some people struggle more, but it's good. Once you get it right, it's really nice and rewarding. Okay,
thank you a lot, and good luck for the finals. Bye-bye.
Brett Collis chatting with Vivi live on our stage. So yeah, second semi-final, that's Rotorama on the left and Flyduino Kiss on the right. With that incredible race course behind him. Here's one team. Miguel Fulara, Lucas Val, Niklas Soler, you might know him as Upside Down, and Sebastian Brander. Flyduino Kiss Racing, welcome to our semi-finals. All German team, they've had good experience in the Drone Champions League. They were with us last season when we had a couple of races, but not together as a team. They won our first race of this season in Paris. We had Angelo Feckler with us, I beg your pardon, Angelo Feckler. We had him with us at a previous race. Mikael Fulara joins us here. So that's Flyduino Kiss. Our German team, all German pilots, and looking ready to go. They will be racing in red against these guys. Jakob Thoman, Jan Mittner, Lubomir Sladek, and David Snard. Onto our stage, go, go, go! Rotorama will race this in blue. They were red in their quarterfinal. Each team has to choose 2 colours, and the team with the highest seeding gets their first pick. So Flyduino will remain in red as they were in their quarterfinal against Wildprop, and Rotorama will switch from red to blue for this. So again, we've seen 2 pilots from each in the single heats of the quarterfinal. Will be the other ones making their appearance now for our semi. Starting block looks like this. If you're new to the Drone Champions League, welcome. I'm Matt Andrews. Thanks very much for joining us live here from Brussels. Our starting blocks, you can see a few to the left and the right. You might wonder why some start in front of each other. It's because based on qualifying results, the slowest drone for each team based on qualifying goes at the front, and the fastest drone for each team goes at the back in a sort of a V shape. It is Lucas Val against Lubomir Sladek. And that does not sound like anything we want to hear or pilots want to hear. Val is out before he even reached the second gate. Lubomir Sladek doing a little loop-the-loop and putting it upside down on the grounds. That, nevertheless, will get a point. You get a point, obviously, if you're the one who progresses the most. We've seen earlier on today, some pilots like to get it all the way around. Lubomir Sladek, he kind of saw the trees and thought, I'm done. Teammates on the stage, they can tell them what's going on. Obviously, the pilots can only see the drones through the FPV goggles. But their teammates can say to them, he's down, Lucas is already out, you're going to take this one. It says 0-0 there, but that will be a point for Lubomir. I beg your pardon, Lubomir Sladek will get that one. Second race, Flora for Flyduino Kiss in red, and Snard for Rotorama, David Snard that is. He is in the lead over Flora. Flora is in the lead over Snard. I can see a lot of action coming in between these 2 pilots. Good pilots, bit twitchy into the tunnel of trees. It won't be the fastest laps we've seen, but as you've noticed, getting to the end is quite a factor in scoring those points. Sometimes that's all you need to do, be the one who actually gets there. Miguel Flora, nearly 2 seconds between him and David Snard as they go through the Alliance Gate, back over the Mont towards the Albert I statue. The Brussels Gate is the start of our second lap. DCL and the gap changing, fluctuating up and down. Flora into the tree, Snard now a long way behind him. Looked like he was closing it, then he started to lose it on the previous gate, and as we come out of the gallery and up to the dock gate, you can see it's almost 4 seconds between them now. David Snard's appearance here in the Drone Champions League through the dock gates. While he's doing that, the Brussels Gate on the other side of the Mont sees Flora. He might even have seen Snard going the opposite direction. He is home. David Snard is putting it there as well. We get 2 finishers. And we get 1 point each after our 2 single heats. 1:07.92 will be Mikael Flara's finishing time, and this is going to get settled in the big one. There's the fountains underneath the starting block. You can see it there with the trusses. That's the starting where they all take off and leave in that V shape, as I mentioned. Flying out over the Mont Arts. Big gap between those 2 finishes. Good action though across those 2 single heats. Let's show you some more of that again. Here's Lucas Val leaving the start I was just talking about, over those fountains across the Mont Arts and hitting the first gate off the inside of the very first gate. That's where Lubomir decided he'd have a good look around Brussels, enjoy the sights of this beautiful city before taking the point and safely putting his drone away. Mikael Flora, not the fastest we've seen through some of those gates, but safely through them. David Snard, there you go. That's an approach we've not seen so many pilots do. A much longer way around into the tunnel of trees. I don't blame him. If you're not confident as you've seen, get through that bit. We have lost a lot of drones into water. We've wrecked a few of them on trees. But the opposite view is also true. Don't play it too safe. That's what Conrad Racing did yesterday, and they never even made it to the quarterfinal stage. Bit of untangling need to be done. That's our crash gate. That's how you finish the race. Bring it home into there through the ribbon curtains at the front. Makes a good bang as well if you're near it. You know a drone's hit that at speed. Hashtag GP Brussels, let us know your thoughts. And make sure you follow us, like us on Facebook, follow on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, all those things. We do lots of great behind the scenes content between races, interviews with pilots, tell you a little bit more about the professional sport of drone racing, so do please subscribe to our channels if you're interested in what we have between now and Romania and what we do during the rest of the year and going forward. We have agreements in place. We will be going back to many of the wonderful locations for 2017 for our 2018 and 2019 seasons. So lots more professional drone racing to come from the Drone Champions League. Stick with us. Subscribe and like. Make sure you don't miss out on the future of drone racing wherever we go around the world. Great shot there of the Mont Arts and this wonderful crowd who've come to join us live. It's the Brazil drone... Brazil. The Brussels Drone E-Show. That's where we find ourselves. There's drone demonstrations going on. You can learn how to fly drones. There's some reveals of some brand new, very cool Star Wars drones. They're getting an unveiling here as well. And there's some esports going on too. We had some professional gaming, competitive gaming with some terrific players. Bit of that going on last night as well. There you go. Blue drones on the left for Rotorama, the red drones on the right for Flyduino Kiss. You can see the ones nearest to the camera where we are here. Those will be the pilots who were fastest in qualifying. So the fastest pilots start at the back, slowest ones at the front, like a reverse grid, if you like. 1 point for Flyduino Kiss, thanks to Mikael Filara in that single heat we just watched, and 1 point to Lubomir Sladek for getting a little bit further than Lucas Wahl in the other one. Big heat! Winner takes all in the semi-final. Some props spinning a little bit late. Off we go, out through the truss. 8 drones in the air for this. And there's a collision. There's a bit of a bang. I think that's going to be Snard going down unless he can save it. Lubomir Sladek is so high. Getting a bit of camera photography done, not a bit of racing. Where are you going, Lubomir? He's found the trees at long last, but he had a very good look at the whole site before he got there. Looked like he was heading towards Inns Parking Gate the wrong way as well. I think he will be done. Niklas Solle is up front. Jan Mittner is too far behind him to make this count at present, but we are going through Conrad, heading up to Alliance across Mont and second lap time. Solle up the front, Lucas Wahl into the trees at great speed, having passed Solle now. He is out, curving beautifully out of there. It's an amazing turn, absolutely wonderful turn out of the trees and through into parking, into the gallery. So fluid, that's one of the nicest we've seen. Solle doesn't want him to have it all his own way. Jan Mittner's gap changing dramatically as he finds performance and loses it again. Lucas Wahl dipping under the gate, going the long way round. Wahl nearly making a mess at the end. I think Solle gets it home. I'm not sure Wahl's got there. Solle did. Jan Mittner was behind him, so that'll be the big heat points for Flyduino Kiss, and that will be the finals place for Flyduino Kiss. But I think Lucas Wahl should be congratulating and appreciating Niklas Solle for being so close with him, because if he wasn't, Jan Mittner and Rotorama would be going through to the final. That was a very dramatic finish live here in Brussels. That could have very differently turned out. Solle there gets the win. Lucas Wahl will try and find that on the replay for you. He does not finish. That is Flyduino Kiss. Through to the final thanks to great flying from Niklas Solle as well. Now that was very nearly a very different story indeed. Jakob Thoman here. Done and dusted. Mikael Filara into the trees again. That's two we've seen do that now after the interparking gate. Difficult to crash there. Open the throttle, get it over the trees. Get close to that bit of fountain. We've netted it to save drones going into it. Doesn't mean the water can't get you though. Sladek, that's nicely out of the trees. Nicely out of the trees, into the interparking gate. I mentioned earlier on it looked like he was going to go through that the wrong way. He didn't actually go through it, he hit it. He's supposed to go around it and come back through the interparking gate. He hit that hard. Flyduino Kiss looking very pleased with themselves. As they should, they are into our grand final of DCL Brussels. So our finalists will be Next Blades Racing against Flyduino Kiss. Next Blades Racing, the UK org. 3 pilots from the UK. Mac Poshvold is their Polish representative. And an American pilot. Ashton Gamble was with us in Vaduz, if you remember him. Flyduino Kiss. Our German team, all German roster. They'll be racing off against them. Next Blades Racing currently second in our championship with 450 points after coming third in Vaduz and winning yesterday. And their opponents, Flyduino Kiss, fifth, joint fifth. They have a win. They won at Paris, our very first race of the season, and didn't score anything since then. So, we're having some fun on our stage while we get our pilots ready. So it's Next Blades Racing with 450 and Flyduino Kiss currently on 250 in the season standings. And Next Blades Racing here as the winner of yesterday. This is the first time we've had 2 point-scoring races in a weekend. So our race started back on the 4th of June in Paris when we closed the Champs-Élysées. Then we went to Vaduz for 1 race and a show race, and then we're having 2 point-scoring races here in Brussels. Let's go to another interview with Vivi, who's with one of Rotorama's pilots. Lubomir Sladek and Vivi.
Lubo, you're with me. One of your teammates said Destiny likes to play games with us. What does that mean?
Yeah, that's definitely, this is sometimes like a magic game. Yeah, you can crash, you can be the fastest, but yeah, it's random.
So what happened today?
Today happened that the guys crashed in the first round, and then we failed in the big heat. Our best pilot crashed, so they overcome and win.
So
I congratulate to Kiss guys because they are great guys.
So how do you keep up your motivation for the next races?
I don't know. I will retire because it caused me so much pain and stress. I feel like 50-year-old man.
Really? Already?
Yes, after this race, yes.
Okay, so how does it feel to fly in such a scenery?
Yeah, it's amazing. Million times thanks to DCL, to the landlord of Brussels, let's say. So it's brilliant, amazing. I can not imagine that I can fly here without this kind of stuff like DCL.
So which one did you like the most from this year?
Which what?
Which scenery?
Which scenery? Definitely the Paris, because it was so attractive, but this Brussels is brilliant also. It's like 100% for Paris and 99.9% for Brussels.
So how do you see your chances in Romania?
In Romania, kind of salty, maybe. I don't know. Our team manager need to choose pilots for that one, so we'll see. But thumbs up for our guys. We are an international team, young, positive people. So.
Okay, thanks a lot, and see you in Romania. High five.
Thanks, Vivi and Lubomir Sladek. Don't retire, Lubomir. Here's what Paris looked like back in June.
Maybe you can have the instructions on the screen how to win your own mini drone. It has everything to do with the drone girls, and the drone girls are standing here in the middle, in front of the stage. You have to make a picture when your drone goes and send it via our Instagram account with the hashtag GP Brussels, just like shown on the screen, and maybe you will win your own mini drone. So if you have a phone with a camera, als u een telefoon hebt met de camera, als u een Instagram account hebt, maak een foto met deze twee lieftallige dames en wie weet wint u uw eigen mini-drone.
Voilà, les grands cœurs sont parmi nous, ils sont au milieu de la plateforme. Vous prenez une photo, vous suivez sur Instagram Mont Champions League, vous mettez le hashtag GP Brussels.
What an amazing event that was. Second stop of the season was here, Liechtenstein. In favour of Conrad Racing Team.
It's going to be a hard run now because we're 3 points to 1 in the back.
He has a lot to do for Mark Heiniger and his FPV Racing Team. Still Schenk in the lead. Schenk all on his own through the order box gate into the DCL crash gate, and that makes Conrad Racing Team the champions here in Vaduz. A great win for Conrad Racing Team, which gives them 250 points for their season. So two amazing locations already in our 2017 season, Champs-Élysées in Paris and Vaduz in Liechtenstein, around the government and parliament buildings, no less. Thank you to everybody involved in those amazing cities for letting us bring drone racing to you. And again, to the people and the city of Brussels for letting us have this amazing weekend. And as I was mentioning, Paris was one race. Vaduz, we had two. One scored for the season, one was more of a show race. This is the first stop in the Drone Champions League where we've had racing on 2 consecutive days, and they both count towards the results of the season. So we've seen a major improvements in times from pilots over yesterday. Top qualifying time in yesterday's conditions was 49.07. Today, 7 pilots were faster than that in qualifying, and Heiko Schenk, he was almost 5 seconds quicker than that with his qualifying team. That was for Conrad Racing Team, though, who we lost out earlier on in the quarterfinal stages. So it's been a major improvement in times across everybody. Conditions a little bit different as well. Yesterday was dusk, going into nighttime flying today. Beautiful hot sunshine. Some pilots prefer it at night. Different visibility, of course, of the course. We light everything up, obviously, but they can see the other drones a little bit better. Some pilots prefer it in the day. It's colder at night. That suits other pilots more than it does others. The cold doesn't bother some of them because they are racing outdoors on our stage. Cold doesn't worry some of them. They don't care about their hands being out of that. Other pilots, actually, they feel like sensitivity in thumbs and so on, it affects them. It is going to be Next Blades Racing against Flyduino Kiss, and let's show you a little bit more about those teams.
Oh yeah, I remember that video, and then I started to watch some more videos and started to see the cool things that people were doing with these drones, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to spend 20 hours on that and just see where it goes, see what happens.
We're now on board with Gary Kent, who's the leading drone for Next Blades Racing. Mac Hochvolt in green, Matt Drew in white. Only 500ths of a second between them as they came into the tunnel. There's nothing in this. Hochvolt now on board with Madru ahead of him.
I think, we're really privileged to experience this sort of thing. Like no generation before us could like transfer its own mind into this small robot and experience what it is to fly and race at these crazy speeds. Because no human body would stand the whole pressure and the speeds that we achieving with those small things.
If you come from work, you're like, I don't want to do anything. Yeah, you go fly. You feel free. You're in your own world, and you can
flank.
Vol crashes into the wall off the Conrad gate. But he continues flying, that is good news.
Is he going to get it to the finish? Can he win this thing? For Flyduino, only one more closed air gate to go. And into the crash gate finally goes Soleil. And that makes Flyduino Kiss Racing the champions. First race in the DCL 2017 season.
The most important thing for me at the DCL is having a good time with friends, but also, of course, succeeding.
Next Blades Racing and Flyduino Kiss Racing. Welcome to the grand final of the Brussels Grand Prix 2017 with the Drone Champions League. I'm Matt Andrews. Thanks very much for joining us live here from the Mont in Brussels. Great racing, as always, by the 9 teams that we have of the best drone racing pilots in the world. Up to 140 kilometers an hour on this 750-meter circuit in the center of Brussels, using the library, using the trees of the Mont as obstacles. We bring you racing in locations like nobody else in the world, and these pilots step up every time. 2 really solid teams. Having a good season, both of them. Both have a win at a previous location. At a previous race, I beg your pardon. Next Blades Racing, their win was yesterday here in Brussels. Flyduino Kiss, they won our first race. Here's Next Blades Racing. Brett Collis, Gary Kent, Mac Poschwald, and Adam Blackburn. Superstar. See? I told you. I have to say that bit when I speak about him. Onto the stage, there you go, live in Brussels. Adam at the front, Gary behind him, Brett and Mac. We take their times from qualifying, that's how we line them up on the starting blocks. That's also how we line them up on stage. So Adam, slowest out of the 4 pilots in qualifying for their team, but wins single heats every single time. Their opponents, the German team of Flyduino Kiss Racing, Michael Fulara, Lucas Wahl, Niklas Zoller, and Sebastian Brandes. They are ready to go. Look at the smiles on everybody's face as they get ready for this. They know this is an amazing track to be racing on. They're having so much fun going around the world with the Drone Champions League. So much respect between all of our teams. They know between them they're about to deliver an astonishing grand final. There's a bit of coordination going on here, Flyduino Kiss. So Nicholas Soler, Sebastian Brandes there, Michael Fulara, and twirling his jacket, Lucas Wahl, who will be in our first single heat. For the grand final, it's 5 heats. Every pilot races in a single heat for 1 point. And rather than nominating the order in which your pilots have to race, we do it by qualifying time. So our first single heat will feature the slowest qualifying pilot for each team. It'll be Adam Blackburn against Lucas Wahl, and then we will move towards the centre of our starting blocks and towards the centre of our stage, ending our 4th single heat with the fastest pilots for each team, which will be Mac Poschwald against Niklas Soler. And then we'll go into the big heats, and again, whoever wins that gets a point, and if you get 2nd and 3rd, you get 2 bonus points. You don't get 1 bonus point just for 2nd. You have to get 2nd and 3rd. That will get you 2 bonus points. That can win any stage of the quarters and semi-finals, but it's still only worth 3 points in the grand final. If you lose every single heat and you go into that big heat 4-0, you are not going to turn it around. It's the grand final. It's designed that way. You've got to feature. You've got to turn up. Yesterday, it went 5-0. They won everything, all 4 single heats, and got a point in the big heat. Next Blades Racing, FPV Racing came out second to them. They've been second at every race this season. They're not here. Lucas Val, Adam Blackburn. It'll be Next Blades Racing with Blackburn in blue, and Flyduino Kiss Racing with Val in red. Our first single heat goes off like this with Val having the better start of the two, and Blackburn chasing him down. He will not let Val get away from him. As we get to the trees, he's already passed him. Val's got into a muddle going into the trees again. Blackburn has not had so many crashes and technical difficulties on this course, and he is going to take the win. He's just thinking, with Blackburn in the lead, Val is going to have to pass him because it is unlikely that Adam Blackburn is going to crash. Val, however, has had a couple, and that is another one. 10-year-old Adam Blackburn puts it nice and high for our runners to have to reach. 1 point for Next Blades Racing. Gary Kent will follow him, looking for the second point for blue. Mikael Falara will try and stop him. There's King Albert first. There's a point for Next Blades Racing, and another one for Adam Blackburn. Gary Kent in blue, Mikael Falara in red. It's Gary Kent's view. And remember, they start alongside each other. Their second qualifying times for each team. They start on equal second place blocks. Kent with a better start. Falara looking at him now, bringing that gap as best he can. He sees Kent halfway up the tree tunnel in front of him. Falara now chasing him down. Good exit, nipping it immediately out behind the pylon. Clear of the trees and clear into the gallery tunnel. Still with him, still got Kent in his sights, not letting him get too far away. They go through the dock gate on the outside. I say they. Turns out it's just Kent who's gone through the dock, been through Conrad and Alliance, been through Brussels and DCL. He will take the second point. Falara for Flyduino Kiss Racing came out of the gallery, and before he made the hairpin turn to fly through the dock gate that is tied on to the gallery, he found himself in the protective side netting. He overshot that turn by quite some way. I don't think we've had one drone get caught up there earlier today. I'm not sure we had anybody get caught there last night. You have to overshoot that hairpin quite a long way to get caught up there. But Gary Kent makes it 2-0. Brett Collis and Sebastian Brunder. We'll see if it can go 3-0 or whether Brunder can stay in the lead here and bring Flyduino Kiss back into this scrap. Off we go through the trees. Collis here. Brunder comes out some way ahead of him. Collis finds a good exit and is closing him down on the inter-parking gate. Good turns by Brett Collis through that gate and the gallery. There's the bit where we overshot just now. We are both still alive here. Split S through Conrad. Out through Alliance, back through Brussels, and Brando starts the second lap, still in the lead, over Brett Collis. Bit of difficulty here though, Brett Collis is out. Sebastian Brandes is not entirely sure where he is. This Conrad Racing Team looking on, giving support to these guys.
On va savoir qui est tombé avant l'autre, mais le suspense est total.
So we've got to work out between Sebastian Brander and Brett Collis who actually made the most progress. That'll be reviewed, and while that's being worked out, Mac Poschwald against Niklas Soler. Mac Poschwald's qualifying time today, 48.57. Niklas Soler, some way behind him. His best time today was 52.06. Mac was best yesterday. 49.07 was the best qualifying time yesterday, and that was his. He is good here. Niklas Soler looking to get a point for certain for his team Flyduino Kiss. Single heat 3 still being reviewed, still being worked out. Let's find out where the fourth one goes. Two pilots who like to stand. Brett Collis standing to the side of Mack, watching him. Poschveld against Soler. Mack against Niklas, and through that first gate, Nick and Nick, basically nothing between them. Mack into the trees, different routes between them, but good speed from both of them. Halfway through the trees, all the way out of the trees, into parking. Those are great turns. Coming out of the trees and hitting the gallery, one of them literally hitting the gallery. It is Mack Poschveld. That'll be a point on the board for Niklas Soler. He's going to get a little bit more air time in, stick time for him through DCL and into the crash gate. That is his first lap and only lap of that single heat done. Mack puts it in the wall. 1 point for Fly Duino Kiss. 2 for certain for Next Blades Racing. So we will work out. There's Brett Collis, you can hear, asking how do they decide my one. He doesn't yet know what the result is going to be between him and Sebastian Brander. Still being reviewed. We have spotters who receive the same FPV video that every pilot gets. They get it live as the pilots see it, and if they think someone's missed a course, missed a gate, crashed, got any question about their result, then they flag it up for review, and then that gets reviewed. We have access, of course, to all the video footage from everything here. All the pilots, we can look at everything to see how these things get worked out. Between Sebastian Brander and Brett Collis for the third single heat of the grand final, it's going to come down to who made the most progress along the racing line. We are actually very accurately having to measure this one. Usually in the Drone Champions League, it's a bit more obvious. Even if they both go down, usually there's some distance between them. That looked like drones being recovered from our track, and perhaps very, very accurate comparison of who really did make the most progress compared to the racing line. Let's have a look at Collis and Brander. That's the one that's being reviewed. Here's Brander out of the DCL gate. This is either the start of the race or the start of the... there we go. Okay, so that is Collis just going in front of him into the trees. This is going to be an in-the-air collision. They have combined into one super drone. Collis and Brander merging their efforts, never before seen in the Drone Champions League. Mid-air collisions are not uncommon. Quite often the drone who was higher survives, because the props on the lower drone typically get damaged, but that is an astonishing bit of live footage live here from Brussels. Seems that since Brett Collis's drone was in the lead and Brander crashed into him, Brett Collis, I think, is going to get given that single heat point for being slightly further along the racecourse when it came down. And when I say it came down, I mean the combined Collis-Brander drone. That is looking like 3 points will go to Next Blades Racing from single heats, and 1 from Fly Duino Kiss. And if it's 3-1 going into our grand final, that big heat is going to make a big impact. The way it will work in the rules in this situation... Oh, there's Poschveld into the wall. Soler into the gate. So the way it'll work, if we go into this big heat, 3-1 for Next Blades Racing over Fly Duino. For Fly Duino to win it, obviously 3 points out of a big heat would make it a tie. If Fly Duino gets first, second, third and fourth place here in Brussels, they will be the winners. They will win DCL Brussels today, and they will take 250 points forwards in the season. And if they don't get first, second, third and fourth, Next Blades Racing, I think, will be the winners, and the 250 will be theirs. There's our drones on the starting blocks, all 8 of them present. Red on the left as we are looking at it now for the starts. Fly to Me No Kiss. Next Blades Racing on the right-hand side. Slowest drones, the ones furthest away from us, based on qualifying times of their pilots. Closest to the camera there, that is Mac Poshvolt on the right. And closest on the left, Niklas Soler's drone, itching to go. Brandes and Brett Collis and Sebastian Brandes, they're the ones slightly ahead of them. Gary Kent to the right, slightly ahead of them with Mikael Filara on the left, and Adam Blackburn furthest away from us on the right, Lucas Wahl on the left. An amazing series of racing we've had here in Brussels. Big heat of grand final. This is it! Off we go, live over the Mont. Lucas Wahl is done. Gary Kent is in the air and in the lead. Sebastian Brandes passes him. The trees threaten everybody. Mac Poshvold is out as well. You know what this means in terms of results of big heats if we don't get 4 finishes from one team. And Fly Duino Kiss are down and down again. Gary Kent out in the lead. Niklas Soler with him. Adam Blackburn and Brett Collis still in the air, chasing him down. And we lose another one. Gary Kent from the lead is finished. Niklas Soler in the lead. Adam Blackburn chasing him. Superstar, gotta say it. Brett Collis with him into the tunnel now, but it is between Soler and Blackburn at the front. That is an amazing exit by Adam Blackburn. Another collision heard in the background. Brett Collis goes into the gallery through the narrowest part. Blackburn is down. Collis is the only one still in the air. Niklas Soler was up front for Fly Duino Kiss. Blackburn has recovered his. Brett Collis done. Next Blades Racing are the champions here today of the Drone Champions League, TCL Brussels. Filara looks like he may have recovered some air and get his back to the finish. The guys are always on their feet celebrating Adam Blackburn. He's always unplugging his FPV, getting his drone tidied away. There's Mac helping him out, saying, come on man, we got this. Look at what a pro he is. Got to get my equipment sorted out. I'm a professional drone racer. Not only that, 2 times champion here with Next Blades Racing in Brussels. Congratulations to them. And you can see Wahl there and Soler losing in our grand final, but knowing that was an incredible race between 2 terrific teams. 250 points to Next Blades Racing, 220 to Fly Duino Kiss Racing. There's confirmation. Was 3-1 going into that big heat. Fly Duino Kiss needed all top 4 finishers. Next Blades Racing get it done with just Brett Collis bringing it home. Nearly 12 seconds ahead of Mikael Filara, who got into some difficulty but managed to finish it. 4-1 into the books. Another win for Next Blades Racing. That makes them the first team to have 2 wins in the points this season. The winners of Paris were Fly Duino Kiss Racing, who we saw there. Conrad Racing Team, they stepped up in Vaduz. Those guys, they won Vaduz in Liechtenstein. We had a show race that didn't score in Brussels. That was won by Next Blades. And they've won both races today.
The big winner of the 3rd race in the Drone Champions League.
That will put them on 700 points for the season. Next Blades Racing. FPV were on 660 after yesterday. If they come 5th, based on the performance of themselves and the other 3 teams who lost the quarterfinals, if FPV come 5th, they will pick up 80 points. They'll be on 740 and they'll remain at the top of the leaderboards. That's all being worked out. Meanwhile, let's see Mac Poshvold in terrible trouble immediately off of the starting blocks. Gary Kent hits the Conrad gate. Don't think anybody's coming to that. That's after you come around this bend, through the Dots gate, over the trees. That's where you find the Conrad gate. That's where Gary Kent found the Conrad gate. Blue, red and blue into the trees. Brett Collis here. Where did you end up, Brett? In that crash gate, like you should. Great scenes from all of our pilots live on stage here in Brussels. And the win for Next Blades. Next BR Free Flow and Rotorama will be third and fourth when their results across all the different heats have been compared. This will all get tallied up. We'll see who takes what to our next race of the season, which will be in Romania, underground at Salina Terda. You saw a little bit in a video earlier on in this show. It is a salt mine in Romania, underground, a huge cavern of a place with salt water at the bottom of it. Some of it, to be fair. It's a multi-tiered place. It's an incredible vertical situation to do drone racing in. We're looking forward to see who does that in Romania. But before we get there, we need to conclude things here in Brussels. And it is Gary Kent on stage with Vivi.
Gary is with me. 2 wins in a row. That's unbelievable. How are you feeling?
Oh, it feels amazing. 2 in a row, I can't believe it. Yeah, it's just absolutely amazing.
The single heats were so close. There was a crash. We had to look who is further. It was just insane.
Yeah, the race had everything. It was the one-on-ones were crazy. The final was great. It was just absolutely brilliant. I loved it. Every minute is so good.
Why do you think you won twice in a row in such a difficult track?
Luck, consistency, all the things, everything just went our way. So yeah, we were lucky.
So describe your feelings for me in 3 words.
I don't know. Happy, ecstatic, amazing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Congrats.
Happy, ecstatic, amazing. And a little bit of a nod there to luck, he said. I don't know. Luck plays a part, I guess, based on your opponent's performance, sure. Let's get on with our prize presentation here, live in Brussels in front of our stage. Who got third? Who was it? And an XBR Free Flow and Rotorama, whose performance warrants them 200 points for third place instead of 150 for fourth. I'm not going to tell you. I'll let you see.
Et il va avoir l'occasion de remettre les prix à l'équipe qui termine troisième.
See our stage presentation going on here at the Brussels Drone E-Show. There's your confirmation that third place goes to Rotorama after their performance against Flyduino, which they lost 2-1, whereas NextBR Free Flow lost their semi-final 3-0. So it is Rotorama who get third place and 200 points for the season. If you know Brussels, you understand what they've been presented. If you don't, as I suspect a couple of those pilots don't, Lubomir Sladek is going, hang on, what is that? Is that statue what I think it is? Yeah, it is. It's Mannequin Peace, which is an extremely famous statue in Brussels. Legend has it that a young boy put out a bomb by doing something on the bomb. And that is a real statue in the centre of Brussels. Very, very famous worldwide. Is he doing what you think he's doing? Yes, he is. And that's how you put out bombs in Legend. So that's what they're being presented with in Brussels. Sladek's. Is that what I think? Yes, it is. Second place, Flyduino Kiss Racing. Congratulations to them. Runners up, they'll get a silver Mannequin Piece.
Voilà, nous avons les troisièmes et les deuxièmes. Il reste un prix à remettre. Je voudrais donner la parole. C'est le bras droit Alain Courtois, qui est donc l'initiateur de ce bel événement de la Bruxelles Night Sport. C'est Fabien Watten. Fabien, quelques mots. On a essayé tout à l'heure de donner la parole, on a découvert par des vidéos.
470 for the season.
C'est magnifique, la météo est avec nous, c'est vraiment pour nous un événement unique.
Our winners will take 250, so the 450 they'd already got from a win yesterday, and third place in Liechtenstein. They'll be on 700, and they will be in the lead for this season, depending on whether FPV pick up 80 points for coming fifth. If they do, FPV will remain leaders of the season so far. If they don't, Next Blades Racing are where they want to be. Right now, here they come to where they want to be. Congratulations, Adam Blackburn, Brett Collis, Mac Poshvolt, and Gary Kent champions again here in Brussels.
Voilà, l'équipe anglaise avec on en a séparé le petit Adam Blackburn.
Taking their place on our podium. Thank you to Stephanie Kizan of Carbon 12011, Ariana Pali of Ibis Hotel, and Fabian Watchen on behalf of Alain Courtois of the City of Brussels for presenting our prizes to Rotorama, Flyduino, and Next Place Racing.
God save the Queen!
There's the statue. Adam Blackburn's making it a little more decent. Congratulations to Next Place Racing. And now I think Adam Blackburn is going to experience what he experienced yesterday for kind of the first time. He is gone, isn't he? He's as fast as his drone out of there. They've been on top of a podium before, but that was the show race in Vaduz when they didn't get that champagne moment. Yesterday they did. Adam Blackburn, superstar, he's seen that plenty of times, but he experienced it up close and personal yesterday. God, Scarpin, see you later. Congratulations again to Next Place Racing. And thanks to all the teams for another amazing day of racing and weekend, of course, including last night's action here in Brussels. Seeing pilots step up time and time again, seeing teams with mixed performances. FPV dropped their hold on the top of the season. They had it with a very large margin before today. We'll show you a standings to let you know how that's going to be worked out, heading towards Salina Turdo in Romania next month. Conrad Racing Team surprised a few people out in Liechtenstein at our race in Vaduz 3 weeks ago. A lot of high hopes for them coming here to Brussels. Didn't feature at all yesterday after coming 9th out of 9 in qualifying. They knew what they did. They knew they played it too safe. They stepped up today. And in fact, for their trouble, I have it that Conrad Racing Team are getting the 80 points for 5th place. That'll be because they lost their quarterfinal 2-1 as opposed to 3-0. FPV Racing, they also lost their quarterfinal 2-1, but due to differences in results and so on and so on, it is going to be 50 points heading the way of Conrad.
Alors on rappelle, c'est beaucoup d'heures de travail, très Richardson.
This is it then, after our 2 races of Brussels. 8 teams on the board, 9 feature in our championship. It's still IRC without anything this season. Wild Prop remain on 80 after their 5th place in Paris. Gemfan with a few points on the board due to their 3rd place yesterday. But at the top now, Next Place Racing take the lead over FPV, who were a long way ahead of them yesterday. That's what basically all the teams needed, FPV to stop scoring points, and that's what happened today. They came 6th overall, Wild Prop and Gemfan 7th and 8th after the standings, but it is 40 points between Next Blades Racing in first and FPV in second, and 30 points between FPV in second and Rotorama in third. That is mixing up a season at the halfway point. 3 great teams at the top, other teams featuring on it as well. Free Flow were on 530, Fly Duino on 470, Conrad 330, Genfan 200 and Wild Prop 80. So this season is for the taking then, as we head towards Romania. So don't miss that. We are looking forward to going back to our salt mine. Salina Terda awaits us in 3 weeks' time, so make sure you join us there for more live racing. 2 live races underground. See what happens ahead of our season finale in Berlin later in December. Make sure you keep following us, like us on Facebook, subscribe to the Drone Champions League on YouTube for more exciting live racing, as well as great video content in between the races, meeting our pilots, showing you behind the scenes. I'll take you around track walks, that kind of thing. So do please subscribe and like everything we're doing. I'm Matt Andrews. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Matt_Andrews. You can also subscribe to me on YouTube for more behind the scenes too. It's good this, isn't it? Should we have some more? 3 weeks' time then. We'll see you from Salina Terda, underground in Romania. And let's see what happens with some teams from some experience of that last year and some pilots who are new to those conditions. It's going to be exciting, it's going to be fast, and it's going to be yours in 3 weeks' time with the Drone Champions League. Thanks so much for joining us today live from Brussels. Let us know your thoughts with the hashtag GP Brussels. We'll see you in a few weeks. Congratulations again to Next Blades Racing.
Bye.